Hey everyone, it's Siobhan here. Today is my 30th birthday and I felt like I needed to kind of record a vlog just to commemorate the day. And since it's such a milestone birthday, it's kind of got me thinking about other birthdays that have also been huge. And yeah, I kind of just felt like sharing. When I was 10 years old, my mom, her twin sister, my Aunt Ellen, and my grandmother Belle, they pooled all their money together to buy me a doll, an American Girl doll named Kirsten Larson, and it was something that I wanted for so long and never thought I'd be able to have just because it was so expensive. And I remember the feeling that I had when I opened the box. I can still remember like the kind of shock and pleasure all at once, like just, it was great. And then later on I went to Greece that year and my grandmother had a stroke while we were there for my 10th birthday. And my dad actually had to leave me with some of his friends to take her to the hospital. It was just something bittersweet that I kind of remember. When I was 12, my parents took me and some of my friends to Ellis Island for my birthday. I've always enjoyed history, and at the time I was obsessed with like the history of immigrants coming from Europe into New York in the, I guess, like late 1800s, early 1900s. And that was a really good day too. 16, I went with my two best girlfriends, my aunt and my dad, to London. It was, I think, no, it wasn't my first time, it was my second or third time going, but it was the first one that I could like really remember, and it was just so awesome. I was sweet 16, I was in this really cool hip city, and just a great memory. I kind of remember though that Dana, she's gonna kill me when I tell this story, she got sick because of like jet lag, and when we got to the hotel I was the first one that popped into the shower, and I remember she just couldn't hold it, she had to throw up, and she opened the door and I was kind of stark naked in the shower and she was throwing up in the toilet and we were just howling with laughter. It was just one of those weird silly moments that happen between friends, and yeah, that was a really good one. When I was 17, my mom gave me tickets to take my friend Dana to see Rent for my birthday, and it was the first time that I was seeing Rent. It wasn't the first time that I was hearing the music, but it was the first time that I was seeing the story all at once. And I remember sitting in the dark with Dana and holding her hand and kind of listening to the music and just feeling really touched and thinking about like New York City and this young generation of artists who are struggling and dealing with things like paying rent and HIV, and it was just like a special kind of bonding moment between my friend and I, because we were also reaching the end of high school, and yeah, I guess, you know, growing up, and it was just a really good moment. I don't know how else to sort of articulate that. 20 was a sad one. My cousin Pat actually died a few days before my 20th birthday, so when I turned 20 I spent my birthday at cousin Pat's funeral, and that was actually the first time that I ever saw my grandmother. It was the first and only time that I ever saw my grandmother Belle cry, like really break down and cry. And it wasn't an easy thing to do because, you know, of course you only get one day a year, and like it was sad having to spend that one day mourning the loss of a family member. But luckily Pat was a really awesome woman, and she left behind my two cousins, Mary and Julia. And so that's pretty cool. They're around and they're fantastic. So thanks, cousin Pat. My 21st birthday was really neat too because my mom, she grew up in New Jersey. She came to New York when she was young to pursue a career in acting, and she actually did that for a long time. And then when my parents divorced, she moved to New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is kind of I think it's in Bucks County or right next to Bucks County, which is a great, fantastic area. And from time to time during the year they have like all these different carnivals and festivals, and there happened to be a beer fest with an Irish musician named Eileen Ivers, and she actually signed a CD for me, and it was great. My mom bought me my first pint, and I think I might have had 2 or 3 that day just because I could. And I don't actually drink beer, but like it was just so much fun getting to drink alcohol in front of my mom. So turning 21 was great, and I actually had the glass that it came in, the pint glass, but I'm not really sure where it is, but I bet you anything that my mom still has it. Turning 25 was unreal just because I was a quarter of a century old and I had a baby. I had had Fanula the previous November. So I was 24 obviously, and then I was 25. She was only a few months old, and I remember looking at her on my birthday and thinking to myself, if someone had told me 4 or 5 years ago that I would have a baby on my 25th birthday, I wouldn't have believed them. But it was great, and I actually do have some really fantastic pictures. And we went to dinner. We went to this Greek restaurant on, I believe, 73rd and Broadway called Nikos, and it was just me, Garrett, my dad, his partner, and my brother. It was a very, very quiet sort of birthday occasion, and I bought these really fancy little patent leather shoes for Finn to wear on that day, and I actually still have them, and they're hanging up in my kitchen because they were really the first real pair of shoes that I bought for her. Was for my 25th birthday. When I turned 27, I was not happy. I think I was having my freak out moment where I was realizing that I was getting closer to turning 30, and I think everybody in their 20s has like some sort of moment where they're just like, oh my god, I like actually can see myself aging and I can feel it, and it's really terrifying. And I think that was what was happening to me. And my parents, along with my husband, they threw me like a surprise birthday party at one of my favorite restaurants, which is, I can't remember if it's 101st or 110th, Mama Mexico. On Thursdays they have mariachis. I think they did even have mariachis the night I was there. And I just wasn't happy. I told everybody that I didn't want a birthday party and I didn't want to celebrate, and I was just like feeling really sort of grumpy and like upset about the whole thing, and they did it anyway. And I remember just being upset. So I don't think they're gonna do that, spring that kind of surprise thing on me ever again, but yeah, it is what it is. For my 29th birthday, my mom took me to see Traces. It's at Union Square, the theater is there, and basically they are just a bunch of actors, like acrobats and dancers, and like kind of like Stomp. It was really, really cool, and great because we actually got to have like time to be together alone. It was also Super Bowl Sunday, so like not many people were out to celebrate with me, which was fine. I didn't really care all that much. For my birthday, my husband gave me an iPhone. It was my very first iPhone, and this whole year it has never left my hand. I cannot like put it down, but it's been great in the sense that it's made it so much easier for me to keep in touch with all of my friends and to answer Facebook messages and just like, you know, keep up with, I guess, the social aspect of my life. Now I'm 30 and I am recording this the day before. It'll probably be uploaded today, which is February 5th, which is my birthday. February 5th, 1983. I was born in the 80s, so I got to grow up during the 80s and 90s, which were two really awesome decades, and I kind of miss them actually. One of my favorite movies is the one with Cher and Nicolas Cage, Moonstruck, and whenever I watch that movie, it really reminds me of the New York City that I knew growing up. The cars and the clothing and the way the buildings looked. That is how I think of, or that's how I remember my childhood New York City. So you gotta check that movie out. We're going to a Chinese restaurant somewhere downtown. I'm gonna be spending the day with my mom. She's coming in from New Hope, Pennsylvania, and we're gonna meet at St. Patrick's Cathedral, probably to light a candle. This is sort of a milestone birthday, obviously turning 30, and there are a few people in my life that I thought would be here and they're not, and my grandmother is one of them, and of course Murphy, my dog, is also another creature in my life that isn't here, so that's kind of strange. My best friend Dana is flying in on Friday, and she's only going to be here for like 2 nights, but the fact that she's coming to be with me for like my birthday weekend, oh my gosh, this has been my girlfriend since we were 8 years old. We met on the first day of 3rd grade. We were both the new students, and we turned to each other and we said, we're going to do this together. And I remember holding her hand, and from that moment on, we were always together. And actually, the only time that we were really apart was after high school. She went to Clark Atlanta University, and I stayed here in New York. And when she came back, I guess 4 years later, we were roommates for a time, and then she followed her college sweetheart out to Minneapolis, and they got married, and that's where they live now. And I talk to her on the phone as regularly as I can, but it's kind of sad not being able to see her every single day. So I'm I can't even tell you, like, that in and of itself is such an amazing birthday present. So what can I say about turning 30? Not very much yet, just because I've only been 30 for a day. What I can say is that I definitely look different than I did 5 years ago, and even with my extra 5 to 10 pounds here or there, because I've noticed that my weight fluctuates a little bit more than it used to, I still feel more attractive than I've ever felt in my whole life. I have a lot more patience, I have a lot more courage. Things that used to matter don't matter anymore, so I feel liberated in many ways. I love having things, but I don't feel like the same sort of crazy obsession with buying new things constantly. I definitely know what my mind is. I'm better at confrontation. I can express myself clearly, I think, and not really worry about what other people are going to say about me. That was one of the things that I always had trouble with in my early 20s and like my late teens, early 20s was, oh my god, what are people going to actually think of me? And like now I kind of don't care, which is a good thing. But it took me a long time to get there, and for most women, I'm generalizing here, but confrontation or just like standing up for yourself in general can be like a journey, and I feel like I've reached the end of that journey where like now I feel very calm and relaxed about who I am. I sort of know what I can handle, I know what I can't handle, I know what I want to be a part of and what I don't want to be a part of, and that's, as I said, liberating. So I feel as though I've become a better mother. I am more in tune with Finn and just understanding that I am the person that will mold her psyche, that I could possibly or potentially make or break her happiness as a person, which is a lot of responsibility, and I used to kind of shy away from it because it scared me so. I did have a friend one time tell me though that if you don't get depressed during serious life changes, that means you're not taking them seriously. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I kind of feel as though I have a better handle on being a parent than I've ever felt. I've started to notice that my body is a little bit more tired than it used to be, and I have like a little bit of like laugh lines right here, which I knew would happen because they're kind of hereditary. I don't know if I would ever be the person that would get like Botox or something like that. I don't know. I've always been pro like plastic surgery. I feel like, you know, it's nobody's business, and like if it's something that you want to do, then do it. But at the same time, I think there's something to be said for aging gracefully, and sooner rather than later. It's, as I said, so surreal that like all the knowledge or wisdom that I've acquired in 30 years will start to actually show on my face. Like I'll be able to look in the mirror and see that on my face, and like that's crazy. The only thing that sucks though is that I'm 30 now and I still get pimples. So like wrinkles and pimples, oh, that doesn't seem fair. But I guess, yeah, I don't know, I guess I'll just deal with it like everybody else does. I don't know what it is about 30, it's like once your 20s end, I guess it's kind of like, alright, this is the time where I can't mess around anymore. Like I really have to focus on the rest of my life. And I think maybe 30 is also when you start to actually notice like the passage of time and notice how, like, you know, we don't stay young forever. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys have a nice day, and thank you for birthday wishes. Thank you for watching my videos all the time and always leaving such nice comments. Like that's a really awesome birthday gift too. So I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!